What's going on, people? We're back with some more TESL Asia. The season did reset, so I want to go take you guys through the leaderboard rewards for the classes for this season. I think it's pretty cool that they're rotating. You also don't go back a full 5 ranks, if you notice. Everyone who was Legend gets reset to rank 2-1. So I have ranked up 1 time. But let's take a look at the class leaderboard rewards. We've got Premium Wardcrafter for Mage. Pretty excited to get that one. We've got Royal Sage for Battle Mage. We have Bruma Profiteer for Spell Sword. Sylvanar Tracker for Archer. Not super excited about that one, but I'm still going to do it. Triumphant Jarl for Crusader. Doesn't really have much of an effect to it, but, you know, premiums are premiums. Monk is Golden Saint. I already have the alt art Golden Saint, but we'll still snag this one. Soul Rest Marshal for Scout. Blackworm Necro for Sorcerer, which is actually the one I'm working on now because this premium is fantastic. Chieftain's Banner for Warrior. And finally for Assassin, we have Cliff Racer. I'll be doing my best to get all of those done. But so far this season, I guess I might as well show the deck. I've been playing Mid-Sorcerer. A pretty generic version of it overall, I would say. Just a regular curve-out Sorcerer, Quartermaster. Then you got Dragentail Savior, Harpy, Wardcrafter, Windkeep as your 2-drops. 2 wards and 1 guy with 3 health means more than likely your 2-drop can survive battle with other 2-drops. We've got Cunning Ally with a slightly over 50% proc rate, and I think that's enough. 2 Daggerfall Mages, because I hadn't pulled a 3rd yet, but I think I have pulled a 3rd since then, but we're still going to leave this as it is. Haunting Spirit and Mammoth are just 2 of the powerhouses. I'm running 2 Dress Renegade, just because it helps counter opposing Harpies. Bolts and Sages are good. Shadowfen Priest is, again, these are all pretty standard. And then my top end is 2 Night Shadow, Emmerich, Wrath of Sithis, just to kind of screw up opposing Ice Storms or Dawn's Wraths or stuff like that. 3 Bone Daddies, because Bone Daddy is incredibly hard to deal with. And then 1 Blood Magic Lord and 1 Supreme Atromancer. If at some point I feel like crafting another Supreme Atromancer, I may just run that instead of the other Bone Daddy. But as it is, I've done pretty well so far with Sorcerer to start the season. Now that I am recording, I expect that to not do as well. But the deck list is down below in the description if you guys wanted to give this a run. It's done very well for me so far. Putting against Carboni Hun. Let's see what we got going on here. We do have the ring, which is solid. Which means I'm going to put back the Quartermaster. I'm tempted to even put back the Firebolt. Alright, getting Mammoth is solid. The only way that this goes very wrong for me is if they have Execute into, like, Fighters Guild Recruit. In all other situations, we have a very powerful start.
They make it
Too easy.
Your blood will spill.
Play this over here, because even if they go face, we can trade and we'll still stay alive. And then I can play Cunning Ally next turn. Although, if they protect with Fighters Guild Recruit,
I do not fear
it's going to come down to Cunning Ally procking.
Face me, you
Or I
dog.
could just bolt and not even risk the Cunning Ally proc. I think I like that. He wants to play something else here to take this out, that's fine. He can't leave Lurker until next turn. But at least this guarantees that we can keep control of the board. And if you, yeah, using a noodle on that is perfectly fine. That is actually quite solid.
Face me, you
I'm going to save the Royal Sage. I'm going to just play the Cunning Ally, and hopefully
Shed some light
we'll
on
draw something to play with Royal Sage next turn. Worst case scenario, we have a Firebolt if they try and slap something down in front of this. But I'd rather get... I try to, if possible, have at least 2 creatures down for Royal Sage. That's not always doable. Wow. Double Viper. I guess we'll just play Royal Sage.
I see you're in need of my wisdom.
Regenerate and regenerate.
I will have your head.
Not great, but it gets us a 4-4 down. They've had to play double Viper, which is very Very weak play overall. We are definitely bolting that.
I will have your head. I have you now. Your blood will spill.
And then let's ward up our Royal Sage just on the off chance they have a third Viper ready to go. We have Bone Daddy opening up next turn, which is incredible. Yeah, that doesn't mean much to me. It's actually a little annoying.
You can't escape. Your blood will spill. Face me, you dog.
Just gonna go the Bone Daddy route. If he has a Master of Thieves, he can swing for 3 and then 4, which will heal him 7. But we just put a crap ton of attack on the board. Oh, Royal Sage could be incredible next turn. Depends on what the rest of his play is. Alright, I figured he could have something like that. Do I still have lethal?
I bark and burn.
We have 2, 4, 8, 14, 19 right now. If I play Bone Daddy, this becomes 3, 6, 9, which will not be enough to bring him down. But I can do 3, 6. Just trying to do some rune skipping math here. 3, 6, 2, 2, and face to skip that last rune. We had plenty of damage all over the place with double Bone Daddy. I knew this was a play, but the amount of magicka he would need to expend in order to even just heal for 7 would have put them out of range. That may have been their only hope, but I was pretty confident that that wouldn't be able to stop us. We hit attribute level 25 with intelligence, which should get us a free legendary. If I didn't have 3 Daggerfall Mage before, now I do. I've already rated the game. I can't keep rating you. I'm sorry. Let's get a second game. Yeah, just Mid Sorcerer has been doing fantastic for me. I haven't won my 15 games quite yet, which is why I'm still playing it. I'm not really super concerned about hitting Legend right away. The season just started, so I have plenty of time. But my main concern is just playing the 15 wins with each class, because I love premiums and I want to get them. And to be honest, just any wins that happen along the way is just a bonus side effect, I would say. Although if I do win enough to get into the top ladder, winning with some of the less than ideal classes is going to get a little bit unfortunate. Like if I get into Legend before I do my 15 wins with Archer, I might have a hard time. Hey, it's Rising High. I'm assuming he's playing Control Mage. I think he's at the bottom of Legend, but there's only 3 Legends at the moment. The ladder just reset yesterday, so I'm not super shocked by that. But yeah, I assume Control Mage. We have the ring, which means we can ring out Wardcrafter, but more than likely he will keep Execute if he had one. I'm still going to play this out.
Watch yourself now.
And then he'll execute it, but gotta at least make him do it. No, he's got a Lurking Crocodile.
Face me, you dog.
So he's going like all in on prophecies. It still could be Prophecy Control Mage. That is still a thing. don't think I want to break the rune quite yet, but I might do it.
Your blood will spill.
Decide which of his free cards I want to kill. Unless it's a Prophecy Javelin. That's the only time that this is a bad play. Yeah, I don't care about that. He can't jab me this turn. So there's a solid chance I get to push through another 5 damage. They're going to do nothing.
Your blood will spill.
Now I might be getting jabbed. If not off this prophecy, then as their next turn.
A little distraction might prove useful.
Unfortunately, I have nothing to play. My draw has been very expensive so far. They could Firebolt and trade. Nope, they just have the jab. I figured. It was likely.
Your fear betrays you.
So I still have very slow draw. It keeps getting worse, actually. But I think we can make some plays here. Either Harpy and Dress Renegade next turn, or we could just flat out Emmerich something. Depends on what they go for.
Hardly a chance.
They're going to trade as well. Okay.
I'll keep a lookout.
Let's shackle that bad boy up. Next turn we can Emmerich and trade, or Emmerich Firebolt trade. We can also go face and play. Okay. Interesting. If I go for Cunning Ally, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way I can get stuff onto the board here.
You must be cleansed. I've got this.
This will keep bodies on the board and potentially set up a future Royal Sage, but I assume they're going to be going face at least a little bit here, if not a lot of bit. But yeah, my very slow and weak mid game, I think, is going to wind up being our downfall here. We just drew a few too many of our expensive cards and didn't really get to flood the board. We still have a chance, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're out. But with Mid Sorcerer, if you have a weak mid game like we had there, and you don't like completely control the board, it's usually your downfall. But there's also an argument to them potentially not attacking because they don't want to give me a card. In which case, if we like high roll the drain or something with Royal Sage, we could potentially end the game that way. Like Cunning Ally, Royal Sage, and maybe a Firebolt along with it. No, they're just going face. Okay. I don't like having to use Emmerich for this, but I want to start controlling the board just a tad. He can hit me for 5. The only problem is they're getting close to Atromancer turn, or just killing me with double bolt. Halls! That's very cool. You could be dead here.
I keep a spare blade in my boot.
Motherless dog.
Let's do this.
I think that one officially fully does me in. 'Cause I can only deal 9.
On your guard, mongrel pup.
Pretty sure I was out either way.
A fine battle.
Yeah, just too slow in the mid game. I wasn't expecting this to be a Dwemer deck in the end. That was interesting. That was a cool little turn of events there. So they actually weren't even as heavy on prophecy as I was expecting. With the amount that I hit, I was expecting it to be like a full-on prophecy control mage. But I guess we just... I don't know. I guess we could take a look at the deck list at some point as well. This video's still a tad short, though. Let's get one more. And then we're going to take a look at that deck list. I'm curious if we just hit the rough end of things or if it's like a very prophecy-heavy Dwemer. I'm not really sure. But we might even be getting a rematch here. Nope. Lin Kong Yang. I think this is the person with the best collection score in the game right now. No, I'll keep the Haunting Spirit just because it's really good, but we need some 1s and 2s to go with it. Alright, this is a much more reasonable hand. This is the kind of hand I was hoping we had last game. Bone Daddy will be lovely to have later, just not right now. Training. Oh, alright, it's even better. We can trade with that. Unless, of course, we get hit with an Execute here. But, as it stands, we can trade with that. And then we can play a Mammoth, and we'll have 2 bodies down. They have the Execute.
You won't foil my plan.
Alright. Triple Mammoth. Okay. I guess they could ring out a Lightning Bolt, but that would just mean that they had perfect answers plus the ring for it for all of our early game, and there's not much you could do about that.
Steadfast, brothers.
This will probably hit, yeah. Don't make the trade. We've seen nothing but yellow so far, so I mean, that hitting should not be a surprise. But we can just keep curving Mammoths. Well, it's not on curve anymore, but we're going to keep slapping down Mammoths. Ideally, we draw a 2-drop next turn to play with another Mammoth. And we're holding in here okay.
You will not pass.
Alright, double Bone Daddy is bad right now, but it can be good in the future. Okay.
All can be
Had for the right price. I'm actually just going to play the Renegade, because it's either going to soak up both hits and live, or they're going to have to use removal on it. And then we can play Mammoth and Haunting Spirit next turn, even if they trade in with our Mammoth. But the main goal here is to try and deny that draw. I think we have an advantage the longer this game goes, especially with double Bone Daddy and Wrath of Sithis in hand. So I have no problem playing for the board here.
May the ancestors bless us.
That will pull them back and execute, but not what they're looking for, unfortunately. We can do this, into this, and this. None of this gets executed, and it's setting up for a potential Mammoth play next turn. This gets a little awkward if they have... It would need to be double Firebolt plus Lightning Bolt, or ring with lightning bolt crushing blow to where they can kill these two and then trade into my haunting spirit. But it looks like that's not the case quite yet.
You must pay to pass unhindered.
Okay. Do they have the firebolt? Nope, they have the imprison. Which is also interesting.
For old outlaws.
So I can just Bone Daddy and trade. Or I can Bolt Harpy trade. Is denying one card that good? I guess the other question is... I think I want to go wide here, and I'll give them a card for it. We're going to take 8. And they will get 1 extra card as a result. But on this follow-up turn, unless they have like an incredible play, or it's something like Immolating Blast, we should be able to take a Stranglehold on the game over here. Like, even with that. Okay, we'll get an extra card. Ooh, we get a Prophecy Bolt, which is clutch. That just means that's 1 less creature we have to trade in. And that also would allow us to, at the moment, if we wanted to, play Sithis and Harpy instead of a Bone Colossus. Although I'm still leaning Bone Colossus so that we can leave one of these guys up.
This one is destined for greatness.
Yeah, let's do Sithis and Shrieking Harpy. And we will shackle that fella. We'll trade into that. My reasoning for this, if they grab Ward, I don't care. We can still double trade afterwards. But I'd like to be able to play Bone Colossus and set up another trade with this 2/2 and keeping my board alive. They grab Guard, which again doesn't matter. They grab Pitline, which partially matters. And another Pilfer Girl. That's a fantastic draw. And get Bone Daddy number 2 out. Let's Harpy that. I'm not going face. I don't want to give them any cards quite yet. We're getting to the point where we'll be going face soon. But if they don't roll lethal here, we can actually trade... Oh, never mind. I shouldn't have said the words don't roll lethal. But it's actually fine because I have a Ward Crafter to help this trade out.
Careful there, friend.
We'll probably start going face next turn. What do we have? 5, 10, 15, 19, 21, 25 at the moment. So not enough, actually.
Blossom.
But what we can do is try and set up a Royal Sage turn.
I see you're in need of my wisdom.
Drain, drain, guard, regenerate, lethal, lethal, drain, and guard. Okay. Not gonna give him any more cards right now. I don't see any reason why what looks to be an aggressive token-based mage would be running
Training
Dawn's
is
Wrath.
over. It's time to act.
And rolling double drain actually helps my battle pass as well.
Steadfast, brothers.
It's pretty solid.
A fine battle.
Confound you.
And that will be the game. I think we should get a battle pass level for that as well. I also want to take a look at Razenhai's deck. I'm curious to the prophecy count. It's always a good idea to check the deck lists anyway, especially if you're like near the top of the ladder. You're gonna run into people again, so the more knowledge you have, the better. So we're gonna take a chance to just gain some information for future matchups we're gonna have. And you guys might be interested, because Razenhai is a much better player than I. So if we can get that info, why not? We also have... Oh, we get a 9 wins pack. 2 core set premiums. 70 gold. 70 core set packs. This is interesting. I guess we'll take a look at that bundle at some point. I'm on an emulator right now, so I can't purchase it. Actually, no. I did not finish the Drain quest. We still need 3 more, but we did finish a Battle Pass level, which will get us 80 soul gems and 5 crown coins. We're almost at 1,800 crown coins. I think I'm over 10k soul gems now. Yeah. So we're doing pretty well on that front. But let's take a look at Razenhai's deck list. His most used deck is actually a warrior deck, so we can't even spy on the mage. So we can't steal that at the moment. But I will keep... Actually, no. What I can do is go to the class mage leaderboard. Oh, no. I guess Razenhai hasn't finished all their games yet. So I'll keep an eye on that. I'm just curious of the prophecy count. Because either we just got a little bit unlucky with hitting the prophecies, or they are a very prophecy-heavy Dwemer deck. Either is a possibility. I just would like to know for next time. But that is going to be it for now, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.